Langrisser.
So for a review of what I covered in the first video, this is what occurred in the past 2 weeks, or the month of February. So the first week of February, from the 1st to the 7th, I ended up getting 10 plus 1 SSRs. Not a hugely high rate. The most important item here was really the Twilight Star that I got from the monthly memory shard purchase. Timeless Trial gave me a star earring, and I kept one Goddess Left Hand because it raised my 7th Goddess Left Hand to level 50. The rest of the SSRs were all turned into ore. Crystal count wise, I got 21 vouchers and 2,719 crystals for this week. And that increase in crystals was because there was still an 18 Gate of Fate event running from Monday to Wednesday. So I used those runs to clear a few Gates of Fate that I hadn't already done. So there's a good amount of vouchers, and there was also 20 additional vouchers as a strategist squad reward. So overall, the increase in resources gave me a good amount in preparation for the major update, which was occurring the following week. The week of February 8th to 14th led to a total of 11 plus 4 SSRs. The extra 4 SSRs came from using 5 Demon Dragon vouchers, getting 1 random SSR weapon from item in my bag, and the most important one was probably the 736-day login bag, where I chose to get a Scepter of Divinity, which is my second one. This is because from the weapon gambles that I did this month, I actually got a Balance Blade, Dragon Slayer Graham, and Scarlet Reaper. All 3 of those weapon gambles were actually great. The only one that was truly important though is probably the Balance Blade, because now I have 2 of them. So one of them is on Reen, the second one will probably go on Bernhard if I end up using him. In terms of crystal count, there was a pretty good increase in Trinity vouchers and crystals this week. I got 29 vouchers and 2,488 crystals. The high voucher increase is because as a major update week, you get a whole bunch of free vouchers. I think the day of the major update you get 5. I think there's another 1 or 2 from some of the other days. So there were a good amount of vouchers there. Also, I did do the Gate of Fate of the new heroes, so Lolly, Jess, and Mariel. So those would also unlock, I think, an additional 6 more vouchers. So it led to just more vouchers than the normal amount. Other than that, it gave me enough resources to do 170 draws in total. And I also got 1,700 crystals as my strategy squad reward for being a content creator. So after last week of getting the 20 vouchers, I then got another portion, the 1,700 crystals, this week. It's actually usually 1,200, but due to some of my videos, due to some of my videos getting posted onto social media, I got some extra rewards from that. So yeah, all in all, it combined to give me a good amount of resources to draw on the banner, and I was able to get both heroes, which really helped. The weapons and accessories that I need right now, well, it was a Crystal Stinger, Balance Blade, Gift of Eternal Life, and Scepter of Divinity going into these weeks. Right? Accessories were the Twilight Star, Juggler Plushie, Swordsmith Medal, and Apex Boots. Now, those resources have changed to being just the Gift of Eternal Life and Scepter of Divinity. Of course, if I get more of those previous items, like Crystal Stingers and Balance Blades, they would certainly be nice to have, but they're not exactly required at this point. At least that's how I feel. In terms of the accessories, I really do need more of pretty much all the accessories. Right? More Twilight Stars would give more fixed damage before combat, which is always great for a lot of heroes. Juggler Plushies is probably less important. I have enough for Liana and Imelda. Swordsmith Medal is also becoming less important because of SP Elwyn, so you're going to want more blood packs rather than Swordsmith Medals, but I can always use more of them. Like healers like Liana and so on could very well deal with getting that immunity to silence, so it's not like having more Swordsmiths would be a disadvantageous thing. And the Apex Boots is kind of in an interesting position because I feel that if I end up deciding to play the Empire AoE meta, which is very meta for next season, I'm going to need a lot of Apex Boots. And I only have one right now. I only have Bernhardt listed as needing a pair of Apex boots, but think of how many infantry and lancer characters the Empire faction uses. There's Bernhardt, there's Leonhard, there's Sakura, there's Reen, right? Like, there's just a whole bunch. There's even Betty too. So, and these are just heroes off the top of my head. So, the more infantry and lancer heroes you use, the more Apex boots you could use, which makes it very, very interesting. Oh, one other thing is, Bernhardt could potentially use the defense increasing boots. I think they're called Spirit Boots or Divine Boots. I can't remember which one. So you could kind of balance out, reduce the number of the Apex Boots that you need, and increase the Apex Boots for other heroes instead. But yeah, it's just... I feel like if you play Empire, you want a whole bunch of balance plates and Apex Boots, and I don't have those resources or those accessories and weapons. So in terms of shard farming, because I got Mira and Lolijess, my shard farming plans have basically finalized. It's also worth noting that I got multiple copies of Lolijess, so I started her off at 50 out of 100 rather than 0 out of 50. Right? So there were 100 extra shards. So the Lolijess farming will not take as long as I initially thought. I'm going to have her at 5 stars in the week of the 22nd of February. So she's going to hit 5 stars much faster. Mariel, of course, is getting farmed from scratch, so she's going to take a while to build up, so she won't appear in my box for quite some time. But Lolijess is pretty much ready to be used. I also got 50 shards of Hobo, which means he's at 50 out of 100, which makes Hobo much more viable to raise up to 6 stars. That's going to be an interesting one, because whether I can find the time or opportunity to farm 99 shards of him will be the question. Like, I think he's definitely going to get farmed up. It may very well be I continue to keep Mythical as a viable faction for me. Right? It's basically, Hobo is in the same situation as Bernhardt now. I have both of them pretty much at 50 out of 150 shards. So they're both in a situation where it's fairly easy to raise them up to 6 stars. But right now, my priority is to farm up Florentia, Lolijess, and Mariel. And those 3 are going to be my focus. So let's jump into the game now and talk about some stuff in the game. So first, it's noteworthy that Apex Arena, the season is actually ending in 38 days. So what this means is pretty much near the end of March is going to be the end of the Apex season and then the start of the playoffs. I think playoff starts the week of the 27th and 28th of March, the very last week of the month. So priority is to get ready for that as a result. In terms of training ground, right now I'm just gathering materials instead of doing any real upgrades, because I'm expecting the next major update to release the Archer and Assassin Soldiers. So what I mean by that is the Elven Wolf Riders, which is primarily used by Illustrial. I think the Horto also can use them, is going to get released. And also the Faceless for Sigma will be released too. So with 2 soldiers being released in this training ground, I need to start gathering resources for them right away, right, in order to raise them to level 10. And as far as I'm aware, both soldiers use the Devout Gloves and Burning Straps. So right now I have 23 Devout Gloves, 14 Burning Straps. I'm prioritizing all my farming into getting these 2 materials right now. Other materials are getting built up, like sprays, necklaces, brown essential oils, and crazy shorts. I'm not really planning on doing any of these upgrades until the next major update. So we'll see what happens then. Because right now my soldiers are performing mostly as expected, and I don't see like an actual need to upgrade the soldiers yet. So when that major when the major update hits, that's when I'll figure it all out. It might be I need to upgrade my Archer and Assassins a little bit more with regards to, let's say, raising this Ultimate Archer training a few more times. Maybe raising the Archer and Ultimate Assassin training, or maybe doing other training grounds rather than the 4 that I currently use, like either doing Lancer or Infantry, both of which are really in quite unusable states right now. So it won't be bad to build up materials and then splend them all in one go, rather than incrementally upgrading things without a real plan. What else is there? I mean, I already covered in the video that I bought a lot of new skins for heroes like Rachel, Varna, and Shafaniel all have skins now from the Valentine's event. So it's looking... the characters I use are looking more and more pretty, I suppose. And yeah, right now the question is really what path I should take going forward. For example, I could raise Hobo up to 6 stars, or alternatively, if I decide to go like Mythical Dark, for example. Alternatively, if I decide to go Empire, like raising Bernhard up to 6 stars and finishing up Leonhard would be important. So there's a whole bunch of characters that I could potentially raise up to 6 stars, and I kind of have to figure that out. But there's no rush, because right now my priority is the 3 characters that I covered in the shard farming, which is finishing up Florentia, finishing up Lolijess, and finishing up Mariel. They're going to take quite some time. Right? So only when one of these characters are complete will I look into new characters. That's pretty much it. And of course, Hilda coming out soon is probably another character that I'm going to farm up. So Sage of the Trees and Bernhard hitting 6 stars is far off in the distance, really. They're not in my farming plans at this time. There's also Noemi too. If I want like another long-range striker, long-range magic striker like Lolijess, Noemi could be built up, and so can Young Jessica, really. So there's a bunch of other characters I can raise to 5 or 6 stars. Yeah, too many characters to build. I have no real reason to plan them out right now. We'll worry about it in 2 months from now. That's basically it. Gear-wise, I mean, we saw the new gear that I got. I'm just setting up additional sets for my heroes. And the other reason to set up additional sets is the backup box is apparently going to be increased in size. Right now it's just 6 heroes. I believe it's supposed to increase to 9. So that adds a whole bunch of additional slots for you to put characters in. 9 characters is pretty much changing your box entirely, because 15 heroes, a lot of them are already healers that you're not going to change. So if you're changing up the remaining characters, which are not healers, that's pretty much completely replacing your whole box, which can make things interesting. Right? But it also does mean I have to build up more sets of gear. So we'll wait and see about that. In terms of shard farming, it's actually interesting to note that I currently am sitting on 23 extra Gate of Fate runs, because I have 23 Wheels of Fate right now. Right? I mean, I've been picking them up whenever I see them in the Times Traveling Merchant, and I'm sitting on these 23 right now because it's not enough to raise a character up to like 5 stars to 6 stars for me. Right? Remember, 6 stars needs 150 shards, 5 stars needs 100 shards. Until I get something of that number from the Gate of Fate runs, there's no real reason to spend them, because it's not like it's going to prioritize or get any character leveled up to a usable form for me right now. So I'm just sitting on those. As I said, I haven't really decided on which character I'm going to build next, so I can afford to sit on them. And actually, the other thing is, if or when I get Hilda, it's very possible for me to use those Gate of Fate runs on building up Hilda, right? Because building up a new hero, if you're going to actually farm the hero up from 0 to 50, takes around 3 months, right? And I can't start farming Hilda the day I get her. Thus, saving those Gate of Fate runs may very well work. The final thing is, the major update of February did add a new time rift, right? With the Volume 1 of Langrisser 5. I haven't really touched it yet. I did do a few battles, 2 of them. I'll post those videos up later. But I'm going to be working through this very, very slowly. In large part because right now, I was still gathering materials to unlock 3C skills for various heroes. For example, I just gathered enough materials from doing the 3 time rifts every day to do Shafaniel. Okay. So you can see I just did another run here today. So I'll unlock Shafaniel's 3C. I already have unlocked the 3C of Lolijess and Mariel. So the other 2 heroes of this batch were... who were they? They were Betty, who I don't use at all, and Iris. So Iris's 3C is actually really good if you use her, but she's not one of the heroes that I will use. So I probably won't unlock this one, especially since it uses the exact same materials as Shafaniel's unlock. But it's a big improvement for her. It's pretty much turning Iris into a character that does mass heal every turn after you use her. It's a replacement for Dolly. Okay. And yeah, so there is one other 3C that I'm pondering about unlocking, and that is Sigma. But this one has no real rush because Sigma won't be usable until next month. Right? I do have one of the items, Pure Billowing Hearts. I can probably get the Pure Shining Hearts from the Time Traveling Merchant. Right? When the items pop up, I'll buy these items. So I will also have Sigma ready to be for use next month when his SP class is released. So pretty much all the characters that I would want to use and so on are ready, and I'm mostly satisfied with the way my box design has been going for Apex Arena. So yeah, that's pretty much sums it up right now. Side note, the big limiting factor on my gear right now is actually enchant scrolls. Like for example, I mentioned how I have a crazy number of these Twilight Guards right now, right? And I also have a Doomsday Herald. Well, the problem is I have to get a good enchant on these items to make use of them, right? And that requires enchant scrolls. So until I actually get a good enchant, there's no point in building up those gears, and that's why those items are mostly sitting in reserve right now. And also, it's just like, for example, Ares, right? If I want to replace Ares King's Crown with that Doomsday Herald, I'm going to need something like this that gives like 5% attack and 7% hit points at least. And until I roll something like this, I'm not going to change it for that Doomsday Herald. It's just not worth it. So I need to get 5% attack and probably some hit point increase, which is going to take a whole bunch of scrolls. And that's the case for a lot of the gear. I have a lot of possible gear I can throw onto characters, just haven't equipped yet. So, and one final point is my Ares right now has the Ragnarok equipped, right? I do also have a full moon ready, or sorry, not a full moon, a Scarlet Reaper ready with very similar enchant. So I just kind of interchange between the two, so no one really knows what to expect from my Ares. It could be a single target strike version, it could be an AoE version. And I think that mostly summed it up. So yeah, it's just right now it's improving enchants on heroes, and as well as getting, saving up materials for the training ground upgrade that I'm going to do before the next, or during the next major update in preparation for the Apex Arena. One last thing is Light of Genesis got some very nice enchants, especially on her Scepter, right? 13% int and 7% hit points. It's the hit point combined with this int makes it good enough that I don't think I'm going to replace it. Instead, I may look to roll at other things. Right? Oh, this is like another great example. I have a Galaxy Cloak on her right now with 14% hit points and 4% int. It's kind of hard to get that kind of enchant again. So unless I roll something crazy like this on another Tenuous Robe, I don't plan to change up that piece of equipment on her. Right. So a bunch of heroes are in this kind of state. I may very well continue to re-roll this Tenuous Headdress to increase the int value here. And yeah, I think that sums it up right now. So rolling enchants to get better ones is really the state I'm in, and that's why all my gold is completely gone. It's actually kind of funny because of all the heroes I'm building, I'm also totally out of guild medals. Right? I have 333 on hand right now. Still haven't bought all the gold of this week either, and I'm currently in the progress where I have to upgrade both Mariel as well as Sigma. Okay? So there's a lack of resources to get them upgraded. For example, Mariel still needs a class mastery here in her Anchoress class. Then I need to unlock and upgrade Devotee and Arbiter, and maybe Saint, so that's going to need runestones as well. And Sigma is also in a very similar state, where I currently have him in his infantry line, but he's going to need the Sniper, Ranger, and Raider unlocked probably, right, for skills and so on, and then he's going to go into his SP class. Oh boy, that means I need like 6 runestones here, another 2 runestones for SP Sigma, that's 8, and then I think 2 for Hilda, that makes 10. So, suffering a severe lack of runestones right now. I don't think I'm going to actually have both Sigma and Mariel ready for the playoffs, now that I look at this. But we'll make do. We'll see how this all works out in the end. Okay, and I think that will be it for this video. So, one last thing I should cover. And that is the way my gallery looks. And this will definitely be the final thing. So the hero gallery will show which characters I'm still missing. From the mobile chapter 1, I'm missing Emilia. From mobile chapter 2, I'm missing Helena. So Emilia I had a lot of opportunities to get off Destiny Summon banners, I just didn't really want her. As for Helena, I mean, she hasn't really appeared in the Destiny Summon banner yet. I think she will next month, and I'll probably pick her up then. And the main reason to get these heroes would be to make other Destiny Summon banners make it easier for me to get new heroes in the future. Langrisser 1 has everyone. Langrisser 2 has everyone. Langrisser 3 I have everyone. Langrisser 4 has everyone. Langrisser 5 has everyone. And Reincarnation, I do have everyone because I picked up Rosalia with the $20 gift bag, getting the 60 shards. And all the other heroes I got either from their banner or from Destiny Summons. Crossover gallery though, I'm missing a bunch. Overlord, I basically gave up on both heroes, which is a shame because I think Albedo could have potentially been useful in the future. With that said, realistically, I don't even know how I would ever fit in farming shards of Albedo, so it's okay that I missed out on her. At the end of the day, it wasn't like I had any position to swap in grinding her shards. Trails of Cold Steel, long ago, had all 3. Record of Lodos War, long ago, had all 4. Yu Yu Hakusho, a long time ago as well. I missed out on Toguro Bros, and I realized even if there's a rerun of his banner, I'm not going to bother picking him up. He just doesn't fit in my box design at all. Sakura Wars have all 3. This banner is actually going to be coming back this month, I think, February. And finally, Trails in the Sky, long ago got all 6 of them. So there's just 2 hero, well, I guess, other than the crossover galleries or crossover banners, I'm just missing 2 heroes right now, which is very, very good for me. I'm in a state where I can get all the heroes that I pretty much want in the future. Is there anything else to mention? Not really. I mean, I think this concludes everything. The only thing to mention is the next item, interestingly enough, is a 999 login days in total. That's actually quite far off because I'm currently at 747, which means there's another 252 days of login time. And this one gives you 60 shards of any hero from Langrisser 1 to 5, which is iffy, because I already have all the heroes from Langrisser 1 to 5. But yeah, we'll see what happens when I get him. Maybe I'll use those 60 shards to raise a hero closer to 6 stars, right? Like, as previously mentioned, Bernhard, or maybe even someone like Rachel. You know, we'll see about that one. So that is it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this video useful to you. And on that note, Nitro out.